Where are you guys from?
York, Pennsylvania. It's right here, between Harrisburg and Philadelphia, right there.
So what was it like growing up there?
Boring, so we made a band. There's not much to do. I mean, it's like a industrial kind of town. Lots of factories and people working 9 to 5.
What kind of factories? There are some well-known factories there, right?
Harley Davidson.
And Caterpillar.
Harley Davidsons are assembled in York, Pennsylvania. We started out by covering new wave songs. Like the first 5 songs we learned was Violent Femme song. I think it was Add It Up or Blister in the Sun.
Yeah,
both of them actually.
Both of them.
Pretty in Pink by the Psychedelic Furs. Begin to Begin, REM, and The Cult, She Sells Sanctuary. 14-year-olds. So we were pretty hip.
That's about 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so we were pretty hip at that age, thanks to Patrick, our bass player's brother, older brother, who was, you know, we always say he's the sole reason that we're not like a Duran Duran ripoff. He gave us all the cool music that was going on in like 85. Or Def Leppard or something. He gave us all the cool music in 85, all the new wave stuff, and turned us on to REM and U2, and so that's what we ended up learning our instruments to as kids, and then we started to write our own music around 1987.
You seem like a very nice, I hope you don't mind saying so, clean-cut guys, you know, not...
God damn it!
Not...
No, yeah, we are. We are. Everybody says that. We're like, we don't want to offend you, but you're really normal. That's cool. We are.
I guess it
We're
makes
nice
us
guys.
stand out a little bit. Being normal, that's what makes us stand out. Well,
Yeah.
that's strange.
You got to be normal coming from York.
Oh, yeah?
Abnormal coming from York is like, I don't know. What would abnormal people do in York?
Well, see, the trick here is, see, 3 Mile Island. Do you remember that? 3 Mile Island. It was our.
Oh, yeah.
It was like our almost like total nuclear disaster in America.
Remember the 3 Mile Island?
It was a power station that almost blew up.
Wasn't it
Nuclear-
Harrisburg?
Yeah, in Harrisburg.
Yeah, which is really close.
And you see in the proximity here, it's really close. You see, so we picked up.
3 Mile Island's like right here.
Yeah.
It's right in between Harrisburg and York, actually.
Yeah.
So you know, we figured that we picked up a little bit of radioactive dust from there and stuff, and it was in our food and everything growing up. So as normal as we may seem on the outside, we're actually really pretty fucked up.
Hi guys in Holland. We're in Normal. It's a small Midwest town. Nothing really much happens here except tonight. My favorite band live's playing, and it's gonna be incredible. I can't wait to go. See you there.
So what's it like to be on tour with a band that has a top 10 record in the U.S.?
It's going well. I think the band's just now moving to larger venues. I've been with the band only about a month, so things are growing. Things are moving from, I think just prior to me, no, he's on the phone, 2,000 seats. Now I think we did 7,000 last week, and things are looking to be doing 18,000, 15,000 by the end of summer, or by the summer. So things are growing. I mean, it's not like the band's there now, but it's coming.
Do you have any idea of the type of people that come to your shows and buy your records?
I hope they're getting older, because when we first came out, it was like romper room at our shows for Mental Jewelry, but we were kids too, so it was like cool. Now, with this record, I think we still have the young like MTV viewing audience, which is like, 15 to 18, but now we're starting to get more like college-age kids and older.
In the army
MTV had come through with the hair band phase and Vanilla Ice and you know, its pop success with Michael Jackson and Madonna and all those things, and had decided that that was eventually going to go nowhere for them, commercially, I guess. And they decided that they want to get back to their grassroots, and we happened to be one of the first bands that they picked up on in that whole thing. So it was actually very confusing for a lot of people that were, you know, college radio programmers or modern rock radio programmers, because I think somewhere in their mind they thought, well, you know, is this band another, you know, Vanilla Ice? or what are they, you know? And the same with Nirvana and the same with Pearl Jam. I've actually seen interviews with them where they were talking about it, where, you know, people wouldn't come out to see their shows and stuff because they actually thought that they were an MTV band. Whereas in fact, you know, we had never expected to even really ever be played on MTV.
Talk to me now. Hey man, you're all that I have. Hey man, you're all that I have.
If there's anything folky about our first record, it was just a lack of ability with our instruments combined with just a real clear vision of what we wanted to do. Because we were too young to have been influenced by anything real, like, eclectic and cool. Because York was a pretty sheltered place. Now we're starting to become more versed in, like, what's going on musically in the world ever since we got out of York and started touring for our band.
I think it has a lot to do with how you sing and how you sound when you actually have an acoustic guitar in your hands. I think that there's just something that naturally happens with the way that you want to sound with that instrument. And I think that a lot of the folk sound came because of the fact that Ed was just playing an acoustic guitar at the time. There were electric instruments backing it up, but the more and more that we toured, and the larger my guitar rig became, the more Ed needed an electric guitar. And just because he couldn't hear the acoustic anymore, it wasn't making the same impact. And then he switched over to playing electric, and I noticed his voice changed and the style in which he was singing became much more raw. And that just happened because, you know, we toured for almost 2 years for Mental Jewelry, so it was just that constant beating of being on the road, and it became much easier to actually just play with all electric instruments and ditch the acoustic guitar. We don't even use an acoustic now at all.
Leave you there by yourself, trying to play. Yeah, I love you. I love tempt you. I love you. There is nothing.
Is there something, according to you, that bands like Pearl Jam, Live, and other sort of bands from that same generation have in common, and what is it?
I think the one thing that they all have in common is self-awareness, and that the generation that I'm in and that they're considered in, the quote-unquote Generation X, that we don't really have any point. I think they're trying to say, you know, we have a point. We're trying to correct everything that's messed up in the world in a way by adjusting ourselves and helping ourselves first, figuring out who we are, and then everyone else will fall into place once they know who they are. And the world once we can all get along together, then everything's going to be fine in the world. We won't have to worry about destroying it anymore.
People in our generation have similar feelings and emotions, just like we're faced with the same things. We feel a part of, like, the music that's going on right now, not because we tried to sound like it, but because we, as part of the unconscious movement of what's going on with our age of people, we just developed into what we are. So we've maintained our uniqueness, and we can't say that we're not a part of what's going on.
Thank you. Good night.
I got Ed to sign my picture, and I got a drumstick when they threw him out. Oh, definitely one of the best concerts I've ever been to. It was incredible. Right.